Every Western nation is under attack. This is not asylum seeking. This is an invasion.
Ne, ne, treš tako utvaraš, bratko. To ne treš ga utvaraš. Čekaj, nego utvarit pa. Ajde, go. Haydi be batlar, Viking Tarzansı be bat. Haydi be.
What's new?
Hey, shalom. Call Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Makakodash is giving all praise to the Most High. In the name of His only God the Son. In the name of the Holy Spirit, double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to those for scattered abroad. Shalom, 244,000. And as you see right here in this clip, man, all right, it had to be at least 100 people that came out of this truck, all right? And as it says in the caption, every Western nation is under attack. This is not asylum seeking, it's an invasion, all right? And, hey, these are middle-aged men. Okay, I ain't seen not one woman, not one child, all right? Well, no, I take it back. There was one woman, in the back there. But, these individuals are getting flooded into these countries like America, Europe, Spain, all these so-called European countries that Esau took over is now being taken over, man, all right? And he's hurt. He's upset. He doesn't like it, all right? Which, when you go in some of these comments, man, I got to show you some of these comments. Somebody said, you invaded their country, overthrew their government, abandoned them, fled and stole their wealth, and then you foolishly ask why they are immigrating or emigrating and fleeing from your actions in their own country. You are fools. And this right here is what happened in Afghanistan, Iraq. They went in there and took all the gold. All right, pretty much robbed these people of their wealth and destroyed their country. And now these Babylonians are upset why they're, taking over their country, which, granted, you have the ICE, you have ICE, coming down with, their hell upon these people that in this country, so-called illegally. But then again, they're only coming for Jake. They're not coming for these Islamic individuals coming from, the so-called Middle East. Okay? Look at this right here, though. It's just said cause and effect. All right, cause, because you bombed them, and you know who behind it. And the effect, now they're coming to your country. It's also going around that you have a major food distribution warehouse where all these Somalians are in there, defecating in the food and pretty much contaminating all the food, man. All right? But here in America, this is what we're seeing here in America. All right, let's show this right here. Let's take away the music. It says, who will defend America's massive invasion? All right, and you see these different cities, Texas and Minneapolis, and it's pretty much being taken over by so-called Muslims, okay? So-called Arabs are taking over and they're having their prayers. So look at California, that's crazy. Illinois, Chicago, they're pretty much taking over this country, man. Matter of fact, I went to a little Greek spot the other day. After camp, me and my brothers went to this little Greek spot, and there's a fine little, Greek lady in there. And I asked her, where, how long has she been? She said she was here for a month. This is maybe a month or so ago. She was only here for like a month, man. So you got people still coming to this country while they're demonizing, targeting you Israelites. and kicking you up out of here, Alabama. All right, so this country has been pretty much overran by these other nations, okay, these heathen nations. All right, and you got Jacob amongst some of them, but for the most part, these are a bunch of heathens, okay, sleeper cells, middle-aged men coming into this country and other, European countries. And pretty much the takeover is inevitable, okay? Needless to say, the takeover is inevitable. Let's see what else we got down here. And these Edomites, they mad, all right? Look, hide your kids, hide your wife. The new Europeans. Look at this, the new Europeans. Now, and I don't know if this is real. It's probably not real, but how waves of immigrants are reshaping a continent. Maybe it is real, okay? No, let's say 2016. I mean, this has been going on for a minute, too, though. So, yeah, we see these things playing out on the earth. We know what it means. Ultimately, Esau's rulership is over, okay? And all these nations think that they're going to be next in power, but really it's going to be us, okay? So let's grab a few precepts. I don't want to make this too long. Getting right to the point. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. It says, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And Esau has sowed nothing but rape, robbery, and murder, okay? Destroying people's whole lands, and now they're confused as to why their land is getting, robbed and stolen from them. Okay, what you do, you can expect to come back unto you. All right, that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. All right. It says cause and effect. I showed you this, cause and effect. You went over there bombing them people land, and now they coming to take your land. And then we know prophecy's sake, this land is going to be bombed, okay? Which this land was taken by rape, robbery, and murder as well, violence. It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. And Esau been sowing to his flesh. Now it's time to reap that corruption. We've been sowing to the spirit, and now we're about to reap life everlasting, okay? And we're going to put this world back in its righteous order and these nations in subjection. It says, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse, I'll read this in the KJV, then I'm jumping to the NLT. It says, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14, it says, the Lord of hosts have sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. Right? They're putting all these, but you just had this so-called, which was a complete psyop with the National Guards that got shot. That was a psyop, but they're so-called bringing all these individuals into this country, and they're confused. But now you're hearing about all these different attacks, attacks, that's going to start increasing. You think this is by coincidence? This is by design. And another thing I thought was funny is how the so-called 911, attack was supposedly done by these people, but now you just let them into this country, which we know, it was an inside job, but it's only a matter of time, man, to say the least. Okay, it's only a matter of time. Let's go back and let's read up. Okay. Just go right into it. It says, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 12, raise the battle flag against Babylon, reinforce the guard, and station the watchmen. Which this is what's happening. These nations are coming to this country, and they're waving their own flags. On the way to camp, Saturday, we was going to camp, and they had a Christmas parade on one side of the street, and you had a Free Palestine protest on the other side of the street. But they was waving their flags. It says, reinforce the guard and station the watchmen, prepare an ambush. They're getting ready to prepare an ambush, man. Okay, they're getting ready to make their move. It says, for the Lord will fulfill all his plans against Babylon. He's going to fulfill all his plans against this place, man. Okay, the Lord has special judgment set up where a lot of people are going to be taken here in America. That's why I did a video the other day about it, saying prepare for a 911 style T attack, man. Something can happen any day now, all right? And we got our eyes open and peeled, waiting for something to pop off. Okay, we understand what time we in. It says you are, bring that part back, man, because I love this part. It says, raise the battle flag against Babylon, reinforce the guard and station the watchmen, prepare an ambush. And Esau, he's pissed off. He had these, city council meetings, talking crap, talking about they out there burning the Quran with and throwing bacon on it. Just Esau being the devil. But this right here shows the end of this man's kingdom. Okay? Their kingdom has been taken over. Just as you took just as you have taken over kingdoms. It says, prepare an ambush, for the Lord will fulfill all his plans against Babylon, which is modern day America. The Lord has plans for America to be destroyed. You are a city by a great river, a great center of commerce, right? Because all a bunch of buying, because America is nothing but, commerce, okay? People, that's why all these nations come here with all their goods and they, sell it cheap. And Americans buy it up, okay? You got Amazon trucks and, Black Friday, and it's always somebody buying something. Okay, it says, "But your end has come." What? But your end has come. The thread of your life is cut. Right, the thread of your life is cut, man. This place is through, and Esau is losing. Okay, let's grab that too, man. Let me grab this too. Kiss the sun. Okay, because this means that this man's rulership is over, and the water Yahawadah. Okay, let's go back though. It says, the Lord of heaven's armies is taking his vow, Shalakia, and has sworn it to his own, Shalakia, and has sworn to it by his own name. It says, your cities will be filled with enemies like fields swarming with locusts, and they will shout and triumph over you. And that's what you see in this video. They're swarming like locusts. They drove this truck up and, behind a building or something and start unleashing all these enemies against America. These people don't love America. They hate America. Okay? And who's to say they're not here to cause great chaos and, death and destruction? All right? You think they're here to find, a comfortable life? That's why they're sneaking in. Like, look how they're sneaking in, man. They're sneaking into this country like crazy. All right? And they're going to go link up with the CIA or somebody and start fulfilling out their plans, trying to get their 100 virgins, man. Okay? You know how I go. They throw the book bag and scream, Allah, you know the rest. Okay? So the Lord is he's really done with America, bro. America is not American anymore, man. All right? So it's only a matter of time. And call Lord Yahawadah for that. It says, your cities will be filled with enemies like fields swarming with locusts. And this is happening all over this country where people are coming in. Remember what happened when Biden was in office? They was busing these people from the border. They was coming in through the border freely, and they was busing them into these major cities where Jake is, man. All right? You're seeing more and more of this every day in your own cities. It says, like fields swarming with locusts, they shall shout and triumph over you. Right. You got these people over here, like you see in this video right here, and they're having these meetings, and they're screaming death to America. Okay? They're voicing their hatred for America. Okay? In America. Okay? So it says, verse 15, the Lord made the earth by his power, and he preserves it by his wisdom. With his own understanding, he stretched out the heavens. When he speaks in the thunder, the heavens are filled with water. He causeth the clouds to rise over the earth. He sends the lightning and the rain and releases the wind from the storehouses. The whole human race is foolish and has no knowledge. The craftsmen are disgraced by the idols they make, for their carefully shaped works are a fraud. These idols have no breath or power, and these nations are all given unto idols. Okay, so the Lord's going to judge all these nations. He bringing everybody over to America to be judged, okay, while the elect will be delivered. All right? Idols are worthless. They are ridiculous lies. On the day of reckoning, they will all be destroyed, right? So it's only a matter of time, man. Okay, but the the power of Israel is no idol. He is the creator of everything that exists, including his people, his own special possession. The Lord of heaven's armies is his name, Yahawadah. You see? So the time is coming, man. Look at this. You are my battle axe and sword, says the Lord. With you I will shatter nations and destroy many kingdoms. With you will I shatter armies, destroy the horse and the rider, the chariot and the charioteer. With you will I shatter men and women, old people and children, young men and maidens. Yay, right? With who? The elect. We're going to put this world back in its righteous order. We're going to put these nations in subjection. Okay, so as they're coming in here to destroy Esau's kingdom, the Lord is raising our kingdom up. All right, let's go over here real quick while I run out of time. Psalm chapter 2, let's grab it in the NLT as well, see what it say. But yo, this is an exciting time, man. This is an exciting time. It says, Psalm chapter 2, verse 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? These nations are imagining a vain thing like they're going to be the next world power, like they're going to be the next ones, the next kings and rulers over the earth. They're imagining a vain thing. They think that the future is Islamic. You out of your goddamn mind, okay? The future is Yahawadah Shem Yahushai, okay? And his elect, starting with his elect and really Israel, okay? The Israelites, not the small hats over there, the Israelites. It says the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord Yahawadah Shem Yahushai and his anointed, saying, and this is what they do. They're taking counsel together against Yahawadah Shem Yahushai and his anointed. They all think they all don't suspect us. Okay, they all pretty much are looking over us like they're going to be the next world leaders. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Right, so it's only a matter of time for the Lord cut them asunder. And they think that they really got it. In the NLT, why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? Right, trying to, conquer America so you can be the next world power. That's a futile plan. But America is going to be destroyed, but we're going to be the next world power. I'll guarantee if they knew that, maybe, who knows, but I'm sure if they knew that we was going to be the next world power, they wouldn't waste their time coming over here trying to conquer this place. All right. It says, the kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed one. Let us break their chains. Then they cry and free ourselves from slavery to God. Yeah, they don't want to be in slavery to God, which when you in slavery to God, you're going to be in slavery to his people. Okay, the Israelites, us. So these nations, they know that that's coming. When we get in power, they're going to be in captivity and slavery to us, subject to us. We're going to be your new kings. But the one who rules in heaven laughs, and the Lord scoffs at them. And then in anger, he rebukes them, terrifying them with his fierce fury. Right, the Lord got judgment set up, man. All right, so, hey, we can sit back and enjoy this show. Okay, the fall of this man's kingdom, the fall of Esau, okay, and the rise of Jacob. All right, and all these other nations are going to fall in line, okay, whether willfully or unwillfully by force, okay, jumping down. It says, only ask and I will give you the nations as your inheritance, the whole earth as your possession. Right, the Lord will give us all of this, all of you. He says, you will break them with an iron rod and smash them like clay pots. All them people jumping out of that van, we're going to come over there and start breaking ankles, man, okay, cracking knees, all right, busting heads open, okay, of all you nations. And then you're going to get a line, all right, you're going to submit and fall in line to the true gods of the earth, okay, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel. Now then, you kings, act wisely, be warned, you rulers of the earth. We're going to be the new rulers of the earth, man, okay? Serve the Lord with reverent fear and rejoice with trembling. Submit to the Most High's royal Son, Yahushai, or he will become angry and you will be destroyed in the midst of all your activities. Woo, you see? So, hey, we already got the victory, man. All we got to do is stay on point, stay in line. It says, and his anger flares up in an instant, but what joy for all who take refuge in him. And that's what we've done. We've taken refuge in Yahawadah Shem Yahushai. Okay? You that should come here to take refuge in America, that's going to be burnt with thermonuclear fire, with missiles. But we taking refuge in Yahawadah Shem Yahushai. So, no matter who all coming into this country, when the Lord send nukes upon this place, if you ain't of the elect, you're going to be destroyed anyways. Shalom, come and shwell, Abba, presence edifying to the elect.